Welcome back to Nintendo Academy for video number 2 of the day. I was gonna leave this video for tomorrow, but it's just been itching at me. It's something. It's a theory that I have. It's a speculative theory, not true. I'm guessing it's not true, but if it is, it could be one of the biggest and most. I really don't know how to explain it. One of the most horrible things that a company can do, I guess, to another company. But let's go ahead and talk about it. Subscribe. So there's 2 games that were supposed to come to the Nintendo Switch years ago. Okay, the first one I'm going to talk about. I mean, there could be other games out there that were announced for the Nintendo Switch, but we have still yet to see them. And I'm talking about third-party games, not first-party games, because Nintendo is pretty good on giving us updates on games that were announced for the Nintendo Switch at some point years ago, and then for some reason they have not arrived yet. But Nintendo always provides us with some updates on those games, whether the game was completely scrapped or it's delayed. So we know at least that from Nintendo, updates are a good thing. They actually give us updates on those games. But for some third-party games that were supposed to make it to the Nintendo Switch, and one of them is Fall Guys, and the other one is Genshin Impact. Okay, these two games 2 years ago, they were both announced for the Nintendo Switch, and they were announced for the same exact year later that year. Now this is where I feel like I'm going to go ahead and start speculating a little bit, because it's something that's been kind of going through my head a little bit, and I'm thinking of why these games have not yet made it to the Nintendo Switch. And there's one thing in common that I found with both of them. Okay, these two games are not available anywhere else. Okay, when it comes to consoles, we have 3 major consoles, right? We have Nintendo, we got Sony PlayStation, and we have the Xbox, right? I'm not counting Windows PC, and I'm not counting mobile devices. Okay, I'm counting 3 major consoles. I don't think PC affects any of the 3 consoles, because at the end, PC is on its own, and then mobile devices for their gaming area are on their own as well. And then we have the 3 major consoles: Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox, and they compete in a way against each other, right? They're the 3 giants of gaming. So a couple of years ago, I reached out to Mediatonic, the Fall Guys the people, and I heard back from them. They were excited about having the game come to the Nintendo Switch, but then something really weird happened. Something extremely weird happened. They were having issues with something about multiplayer, and this was 2 years ago, and they just put that excuse out there, right? But we have not heard from them again, right? The YouTube video is still there, the announcement for Nintendo, for the Nintendo Switch, but on their website, where they did have, by the way, the Nintendo Switch listed as coming soon, they have completely removed all mention of the Nintendo Switch version of Fall Guys from their website. Not only that, but when you go over to Genshin Impact, the same thing has happened, and if you go to their YouTube channel, you can see that little release trailer for the Nintendo Switch they announced, and they also removed from their website any mention of the Nintendo Switch, even that trailer they had for Genshin Impact coming to the Nintendo Switch. So I started digging and trying to find out why have these 2 companies who have a mainly large following just basically announced it, getting every single Nintendo owner hyped up. I mean, at least the people who wanted Fall Guys and people who wanted Genshin Impact on the Nintendo Switch. 2 amazing games, by the way. Millions of owners of Switches who were looking forward to these games suddenly have no issue, no response, no they're just left hanging in the air. If you want to play one of these games, then you have to buy a PlayStation 4 or 5, buy a PC or have a PC gaming, a gaming PC, or that's it, or a mobile device, because Genshin Impact is on iPhone, iOS, Android, and PC and PlayStation. Here's where I come here. I've heard it in the grapevine that there's a certain company that likes to pay out developing companies to delay games on other platforms, basically buying some sort of exclusivity. Okay, and when I heard this, it's I found it to be very disgusting, especially when a game has already been announced. Now, I don't know if this is what's happening with these games, because the only platform right now out of the three that these games are on is PlayStation, and they are having no issues with those games over there. They have no compatibility issues when it comes to multiplayer. You can't tell me graphics, or you can't tell me it can't run on the Switch, because we have games like Breath of the Wild with an open world concept that runs very well on the Switch. There are so many games that Nintendo Switch and the hardware for the Nintendo Switch has that run great on the Nintendo Switch. So spare me the excuse of the Nintendo Switch is not powerful enough for these games. These games are not that high in graphics that they can't be ported. The excuse was the multiplayer issue about they wanted to do a cross play multiplayer thing, and that's why they delayed the game. But right now, as it states, there's no game coming. There's no platform cross-play happening because the game is not out. Wouldn't it make sense to release the Nintendo's versions of these games, have them play just well, and have the Nintendo owners enjoy them, then work on platform crossplay, and then issue an update where we could actually enjoy these games, crossplay, when like you said you were going to do, and gave us that excuse of why we're not seeing that on the Nintendo Switch. And I'm beginning to think more and more that this thing about a certain company buying off exclusivities, or even paying off underneath the table to delay games, to just slow down, just make him wait a little more to have some type of exclusivity, it's kind of real. You may agree with me or not, but this is exactly what I believe. And I feel like this is not a good thing. It's not a good thing. I'm not going to mention the company I feel that I believe is doing this. You guys can visit the website for each and then figure out what company is the only company right now that has both games on their platform, and then you can come up with your own conclusion. But I honestly feel let down by these two companies, and I know that a lot of you out there are also let down by these two companies. I remember when they announced, they took space out of a Nintendo Direct to announce Fall Guys. They took space out of a Nintendo, like a main Nintendo Direct, to announce Fall Guys. They didn't announce it on their own. They took some space out of a Direct that could have gotten to another game that is already on the Nintendo Switch right now, and probably is not having the sales it could have had, if it were displayed on that Nintendo Direct. On Nintendo Directs, we have game slots, and I'm pretty sure that games are chosen, or they have to pay a fee to be a part of this Direct. Well, this Direct is a massive platform for indie games to promote their games. We have Indie Direct. Like, Mediatonic is an indie company. They're not a first-party company. And they took some time from the Nintendo Direct in order to tell us that summer, from I think it was 2020, that summer we were getting Fall Guys, and that never happened. We're now in 2022. There has been no update whatsoever from either company, and this is looking less and less likely that we will ever see any updates or any releases for these games on the Nintendo Switch. I mean, in my opinion, it's their loss. It's their loss. We have millions and millions of Nintendo Switch owners, subscribers that it's a target audience that could literally extend the life of these games, but I guess they took the money under the table from a certain other company to delay or to not put these games on a Nintendo Switch. And I could be completely wrong. Again, I could be completely wrong about this, but this is how I feel. And because I heard this a few years ago. I didn't hear this I heard this a few years ago from this certain company that likes to pay off developers to hold their games on their platform for exclusivity for a short period of time and then release later on. But the problem here is that the games were already announced for the Switch. So these companies taking this money after announcing a game is just completely bad. And I'm not saying it's happening or it happened. I'm just saying it's very likely that something in this form happened. You guys be the judge. Let me know in the comments, what do you guys think about this? Were you expecting Genshin Impact on the Switch? Were you looking forward to it? Were you expecting Fall Guys on the Nintendo Switch? Were you looking forward to this game also coming out on the Switch? Let me know below in the comments, and let's continue the discussion, because I feel like we have to, speak out. It's not cool for companies to announce certain games that are that have a lot of people waiting for them, and all of a sudden just back out of the deal and not even release a video update or something that could tell you, look, this is what's happening. We're running into these issues. Please allow us a little more time, or something in that sort. But tight-lipped, not a word. Time has passed. They removed the platform, the Nintendo Switch, from their websites, and to me, that's where they went wrong. I think that's where they kind of dropped the ball. All right, guys, that is it for this discussion video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I'll see you in the comments.